got nothing. Oh, man. Horse racing happy hour. I want to thank our friends over at Never Say Die Bourbon holding on to the rye right here. Look at this beautiful, beautiful packaging here. Also a double gold medal winner out there in San Francisco hung out with us throughout all of Breeders' Cup. A great option for you as you head to a Thanksgiving party or need a gift. Horse player in your life to get into the holiday season. He's Barry Spears. I'm Louie Barry. This is the Horse Racing Happy Hour. This is the show we call SoCal Saturdays. We had a special edition at Del Mar last weekend ahead of Breeders' Cup Saturday. This weekend, back to more normal things, including the Chosen Bronze Stakes, Calbred Stakes, with 7 furlongs on the dirt there at Del Mar. Chosen Bronze made a pretty good case for being one of the best Calbreds ever in his career. Barry, how are you?
Yeah, hanging in there. You know, a little hungover from the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, travel. Got it. Yes. Okay. Got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Not a Thursday at your age. I mean, what are we doing?
A whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
Totally. That's exactly right. We are presented, by the way, by Amwager at amwager.com. New sign up bonus right now if you are a new customer. 100% deposit match up to $150. Get in with our friends at Amwager and amwager.com. Hi, Marissa. It's good to see you. Back at it in the studio here after that aforementioned trip to the Breeders' Cup. Barry, I think you should share on this platform, at least, and certainly in front of our friends in Southern California, the thousands of which hang out with us every week. We appreciate them very much, whether it's on the Thursday or the Friday show on this platform. You kind of like Del Mar, don't you, buddy?
Oh, man. I don't know if anybody social media got the gist of that, but absolutely. It's a gorgeous place. It's beautiful. The atmosphere is great for racing and, just a real laid back thing. And I was telling somebody yesterday how it's such a unique place and it's in and of itself that it can't be compared to let's say Saratoga. It's just a totally different thing.
It is the Keeneland or Saratoga of their circuit for sure, but it's on a state fairgrounds, right? So there's like a concert hall nearby. There's also like an outdoor venue space as well for horse shows, like like the barrels and those sorts of things as well. And then it's just everything's there, and you realize when you're on that property that there's a little bit of everything. There's a show jumping you can see kind of in the infield as well. I mean, there's just a little bit of everything at Del Mar. It is its own animal for sure. But Barry Spears and Louie Barry hanging out with you here on SoCal Saturdays. We're here every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern, previewing Saturday's card. Not dissuading you at all from looking at Friday, but we want to give you a little bit of time to handicap alongside us. Race 1 will kick it off, of course. We are starting with a maiden special, and I think a very fun one, frankly. Mile on the turf here, $60,000 on the line, and it's for fillies and mares, essentially 3 and up in this spot. Barry, you and I landed on the same horses here, but in a different order. Odd races on this show. Barry gets to go first, which means he gets to go first 5 times and me 4 times today, which sounds a lot like our relationship. All right, Barry, go ahead. Who you got in race 1?
Yeah, race 1 is a real kind of salty, even though there's not many horses in it.
Make a case for a lot of horses in here. Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, maiden special weight, some horses just kind of doing some different things. And this horse, the 3 horse, actually, funny enough, Bint El Dandy. I was on this horse the first 2 times this horse ran this year, and I have jumped ship.
Barry's done, folks.
I just don't think this horse
guaranteed winner, the 3 horse. Get it done.
I know, right? I probably just put him in the winner's circle, but
no doubt about it.
I was just disappointed for a 4-year-old that kind of seemed like they were in spots that they could win out at Saratoga and at Aqueduct, and just didn't get it done. And I don't think that this race is actually much easier in a sense, because the 2 horse Pura Vida Princessa has a lot of speed also, and probably has a more lasting speed. Probably doesn't even need the lead either. If you go back to last year, this horse ran at Del Mar, passed a few horses, and I think they can get that kind of trip. Seems ideal in a spot where there is some speed with Bint El Dandy and Musical Song, that could kind of push the pace and make this a fair race for the 2 to kind of scoop everybody up late.
And you're 2-1-3 here, and I went 3-2-1. So I'm jumping back on Bint El Dandy since Barry essentially just guaranteed that horse is going to win in this spot.
Hang on.
Mostly the Hector Berrios angle here. I won't lie to you. Hector aboard for the first time. This was shipping in from New York, was really competitive in a high-level maiden special at Saratoga. They tried the horse on the lead there at Aqueduct. I think that'll set up a lot better, frankly, at Del Mar. And so shorter stretch, all the things. man, oh man, $11,000 breeding job, started its career on the yielding turf going right-handed, etc. Should have its feet underneath it here. That one horse you're right is interesting. My Perfect Wave, the classic sort of Southern California, a couple times sprinting. Then we're going to try the mile, especially on the turf. We seem to see that a lot. This is one under Umberto Rispoli that frankly was coming from off the pace sprinting. So you understand the motivation here by trainer Tim Yakteen to stretch out. And so 3-2-1 for me. And here again, Barry 2-1-3 in race 1. We go on to race 2 here. We're talking Del Mar on Saturday. This is SoCal Saturdays. My name's Louie Barry, and he is Barry Spears, a maiden 50. And it is a Calbred race here. $33,000 on the line, 5.5 on the dirt. And this is for 2-year-olds, Barry. And we're into this kind of year. Just did a show yesterday, by the way, about Maryland racing a couple, the Smart Halo and the James F. Lewis tomorrow there. A trio of 2-year-old races at Maryland tomorrow. By the way, you cannot miss, all double-digit fields. Really, really spectacular. But in this one here, a little bit shorter of a field, Barry. We get 6 in here. I don't know how you felt about this race, but we landed on the same horse, and that's Tamarindo Beach. We're being a little boring here, but this is one that's going to drop out of that maiden special company. But frankly, the angle that I like here that hasn't worked recently for Dean Peterson, I like the idea of throwing the blinkers on and trying to get this horse out of the gate more quickly. If you look what the most recent work is for this horse, it's out of the gate. So they're clearly trying to work on that early speed with this horse. If he's able to take any kind of cue from that, I think that he'll be a lot better in this company. And so I landed in this one 2-3-1. You landed 2-4-3. What do you like about the first timer in Tascadero?
I think I just want to get away from horses like One Step Beyond. We've seen this horse quite a bit up and down the claiming ladder a little bit, and really can't finish races off, and I don't think that trend is going to stop. So I'm kind of looking for a new face to
Mm.
pick up pieces here. They had a nice workout October 4th at St. Louis Ray, and actually the one before that was pretty decent from the gate. And stacking up against these horses, there's no obviously monsters in here. I kind of went to Tamarindo Beach because they were a speed figure standout, and there's not much experience in this field. But Tascadero, I think, has a pretty good shot to finish second.
I think you're right. The part of this, I mean, shorter field, frankly, this is where you can kind of get creative if you want to with exactas or that kind of play, right? Where you can, press an opinion that you want to. I went to be boring like the first race, 2-3-1 here. I'll talk about Shadowban, another first-time starter here. This is one for George Papapadromou. And, we've watched these throughout the year, at least, Barry, these first-timers percentages. Like Michael McCarthy's for a long time wasn't very good. And then he popped like 2 in like 7 races, something like that. Once in a while, it's okay to look around at who else has a first-timer in there. There's no Bob Baffert in here. Right. And sometimes you wonder with a Michael McCarthy, are you just training knowing that those Baffert monsters are out there? So really the second timer is what matters, right? Is a horse with experience has a better chance than in those kinds of positions. I'm interested in this Papapadromou trained horse, excuse me. I thought the gate work last out made a lot of sense. And another one that they think, hey, if we can get out quick, we've got a shot here. The works are good enough. This is a son of Bodie Express. And so it's going to have a fair amount of early speed. Bodie Express, of course, finally breaking through in the Clark here at Churchill Downs, going 2 turns, but it was on the lead. That was something he had to do, was get out of the gate and work on that. It took him a long time in his career. So obviously, unfortunately for the owners there, that part of his game is carried on through the lineage to his own, progeny that way. But I am interested to see how he runs. 2-3-1 for me here in this spot. Barry, you went 2-4-3. Do you largely agree about Shadowban there?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it has just as good a shot as Tascadero to finish second here, in my opinion. So it's splitting hairs to pick one of these over the other. I actually went with Tascadero because of the morning line. It was a little bit higher. May have caught a rare form error. That last workout for Tascadero is technically a bullet.
Right.
There is no designation. I'll have to check with the buyer boys and everybody else to see what's going on there. But I thought that was interesting, nevertheless. But Tascadero, I kind of like those gate works, especially the tighteners, the last 3 workouts, and that kind of tipped me over the edge.
There you go.
Not
That was great.
really, but kind of.
This is Barry's last show. He's over the edge. Move on to race 3 here on SoCal Saturdays. We're presented by Amwager. My name's Louie. He's Barry. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday morning. Of course, getting you ready for Saturday afternoon. There at Del Mar. Race 3 is a claimer. It's $25,000 or 22 and a half if you want a couple of pounds off of there. Going 5 furlongs just like we did in the Breeders' Cup on the turf. $34,000 on the line here. Barry, odd numbered race. You get to go first here. And I think you could probably come up with a bunch of different scenarios in this race. And you know what? I'll take a 12 horse field every single race.
Yeah, this race was kind of tough. Everybody's very evenly matched. They kind of have the same running style, a lot of them, and it was tough to kind of come up with horses here. But usually in races like this, the drop downs kind of dominate, and that meant basically the outside horses, the 11 and the 10. I went to the 11 on Top Sharp as attack, just because I think this horse likes the distance at 5 furlongs a little bit better than anybody else in here. Has 2 wins at the distance. Is dropping in from a 32,000 start allowance 25. And I think that might make all the difference. This horse should get a good trip stalking from the outside. There's enough speed, and 4-1 seems like a fair price.
Fraser, excuse me, and Hector Palma, actually a good combination. They win a third
Hmm.
of their races together all together. And so it's an interesting, Palma, not a huge barn, 110 starts this year, so not a small one either. Does have a second place finish in 2 starts so far. I went even further outside, man. I'm going to try the 12. I agree with you on Sharp as attack, by the way. That's a horse that we've just seen hard
Yeah.
knocking. We saw in the Malibu before, that kind of thing. And so just a hard knocker. You can tell it's kind of got the O'Neill feel to it, a little dirt, little turf, whatever. But back and forth. I think the turf a better surface, 4 for 14 lifetime for Sharp as attack. But Simplexity is going to break on the outside. This is a gelded son of Invincible Army. But in this one, I think keeping Hector Barrios and Barry, I'm just essentially going on the horse is doing something for the second time. Once in a while, it's the surface. Once in a while, it's trying a class for the second time, maybe moving into graded stakes or something like that. But rather in this case, just sprinting for the second time. And if you look how that horse handled it last time, did just fine under Hector Barrios, should get a similar ride. I like the outside post for this one as well, Barry, just to not have to deal with all of the middle of the traffic like it did last time. And so just a little outkicked last time by Betty's Dream Coming, who's also going to be in this field. But I do think for the price, and maybe people forget this one just a little bit on the outside, I might get a little bit of value there. So I'll go 12, 11, and 10. Umberto on the 10 there. Why don't you talk about the 5 and the 4 here, though? Please focus out of the not that George Lopez, but the George Lopez barn here. What do you think of Please Focus?
Yeah. You know, there's a faction of this race, or at least versions of this race, I should say, uh, that aren't really too quick up front.
Hmm.
And I think Please Focus could be the beneficiary of something like that, especially second time at this level after dropping in. This horse is close, but never wins. That's really why I put this horse in, second and third range. Uh, but I think the speed puts this horse in the mix here, and they're good enough. Their past races are good enough. I see a race back last year, August at Del Mar,
Hmm.
that is right there with these. It would be the August 22nd race, 2024.
Yep. Please Focus does have a win and 2 seconds at Del Mar. Lifetime player B, though, in the 4 hole here, not as successful as Del Mar, excuse me. What do you see here?
Same thing. Another one that's going to be forwardly placed. Probably didn't want to get to the lead last time. And I think they're going to, with Juan Hernandez, sit right off it. So that's why I think Please Focus might have a better chance than those odds might be, because I don't think player B is going to want to try to go heads up with this horse. But there is other quote unquote lesser speed in here, lesser as in cheaper speed. And it might set up okay for player B to kind of get in the mix. Likes to finish second a lot. 20 starts, 6 seconds. I
Yeah.
mean, if that doesn't tell you what's going to happen there, I don't know what will.
A little second-itis there for sure. We move on to race 4 here on SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Network. My name's Louie Rabeau. He's Barry Spears. We're presented by Amwager. Made an optional claimer here at 62,500. Not 6250. We're not at Los Al. We're
Okay.
at Del Mar. 62,500. Going 6 furlongs on the dirt here. It's for 2-year-olds. And if they've started for a claiming price or sold at auction for 150 or less thousand, they're available for this race. $42,000 on the line here. Barry, I go first in these even numbered races. And so here are my numbers. They are 3, 1, and 6. And the 3 horse in here is Captivator. You and I both tried to beat this horse, I'm sure, in our minds. Was frankly pretty good on debut at this level under Hector Barrios, who keeps them out for John Sadler. John Sadler, second timers, win at 20%. He and Hector Barrios win at 29% together at Del Mar. All of the numbers seem to match up in the right way for Captivator to go ahead and win here. A son of Charlatan. Had you forgotten about Charlatan, by the way?
No, I have not. In fact, I like a couple of horses this weekend that are sired by Charlatan. So we'll see how he does as a sire this weekend.
So I went 3, 1, and 6 in here. Barry, you landed in a very, very different spot here. 8, 3, and 1 for you.
Yeah, I decided to kind of throw one downfield. There's a lot of first-time starters in here, and the horses that have run, including Captivator, don't look all that overwhelming. I know the speed figure that Captivator got was pretty decent, but again, that was still in the maiden claiming ranks in a race like this. It wasn't like this horse is dropping in.
Right.
So to me, that doesn't scare me at all with a first time starter who's been training very well. I like the 2 last workouts for
Mhm.
Konsu. Um, the last bullet, 1 out of 26, 47 and 1 handled from the gate, is definitely the longest, fastest gate work closest to the race. And I think that might do a lot of good in this spot. This horse just might be really quick out of the gate and run them off their feet.
You do have the 3 in your second spot. I have the 1 in mine. Sharon's Angels. You and I both like this horse in the top 3 here. I simply like the second time angle here. Taking the blinkers off is an interesting angle as well. It's a very effective one for Richard Baltus. The works, though, from this horse, Barry, are as good as you would expect, frankly, ahead of an allowance for like a 4-year-old. Most recently, just handily sub 1 minute, 5 furlongs at Santa Anita, just kind of cruising along. I'm hoping that cruising speed shows up under Edwin Maldonado, who's only getting his 5th start today at Del Mar in the entire meet. So hopefully we'll get some nice results from him as well. But yeah, I landed 3, 1, and 6 in here. Barry 8, 3, and 1 in race 4. We move on to race 5. It is an odd numbered race, which means we go back to Barry first. But of course, the late pick 5 starts here as well. A mile on the turf for an optional claimer, $80,000 claim price, and you can run for $63,000. Fillies and Mares 3 and up in this one, Barry. Essentially, and on to at a higher level here. And you went with the 6 horse here, who is Certitude. So we get to put up our banner today. This is a very boring play of the day. Why do you like the 6?
The 6 kind of is lone speed here. I don't really see too many horses that can compete fast early. I mean, Princessa Mosh does have a little bit of zip, but I don't think they want that kind of problem with a horse like Certitude, who will probably just run them off their feet. And Jane Austen is kind of another one that may need another race. That horse hadn't been out in a while. Didn't really quite get out of the gate last time, and I think that gives Certitude basically the license to win this race or not. I mean, honestly, it's in her hands. Hector Barrios is going to do the right thing, get this horse on the lead, and I think that's all it's going to take. There's not much in here behind it, and I used Baltic Fire for second because this horse should be closing late. I think this race might kind of fall apart behind Certitude.
You are 6, 5, and 9. I am the palindrome. I am 9, 5, and 6. I'll go with wordplay on the outside here. Umberto Rispoli keeps them on, I should say. And this one, another closer, frankly, or able to stalk. And I think what happened last time, Barry, is that Umberto wasn't quite ready for how fast the early pace was going to be in that race. And this horse fell a little bit further behind than even he thought it was going to. Now, Umberto on the dirt, I've had my criticisms of how he thinks every horse is Sierra Leone, right? I mean, he really does. He thinks they're all just going to be able to catch up whenever he goes, hey, start running. That's great. Wordplay, though, I think just looking back at optional claimers at the 50 level, at allowances, start allowances at that level, etc., is set up for this. And at Del Mar, 2 wins in 4 starts, I think makes a lot of sense on the outside. Gets back to Lasix here, which I like. And so coming out of that swing time, the black type last time at Santa Anita, I think sets up a little bit better here at Del Mar. But I do think the 5 and the 6 here are right on top. And I think Baltic Fire is really interesting in here, Barry. And you and I both have this horse in our handicapping. Serafin Carmona keeps the mount, hasn't won yet at this meet, but Simon Callahan trains. This is one that if you go 3 back, right? She was in the swing. She was in the swing time last time, ran 4th in that race. was kind of a stayer and kind of ran out of gas at the end of that. Again, I think it's partly because it went a little faster at the beginning than they thought. In that mile and a 16th race, though, at Del Mar, where this horse hung back a little bit and then did a little bit more running later, was able to get over the top, is in for the tag here, which is very interesting. But I think she's got a legit shot as well. So I went 9, 5, and 6. You 6, 5, and 9. Do you largely agree about what I just said about Baltic Fire?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd add that this horse's races at this distance are very,
Mm,
very good.
right.
If you put a line through all this horse's races over or under a mile, you can see the improvement every time this horse runs this distance. Been keeping very good company. I would say it's a stretch that 15-1 is there, but I'd say if it is, I might have to put this horse on top. Call an audible because of the fact that price is so good. Definitely using both the 5 and the 6 in multis.
Barry, one of our races is next. It's race
Only
6. It's a $10,000 claimer, and you're damn right it is. You understand me, people? This is for non-two lifers. You know how many horses we got here, Barry? We got 9. Keep carding these races, please, Southern California. We need them to fill our cards. Late pick 4 starts here. We're going 6 furlongs on the dirt. We're running for 18 grand because God bless you. There's, I think, a lot of different ways to go in this one here, Barry, to start the late pick 4. But in race 6, I go first. Talk about throwing downfield. Your boy's going to go with the 8 here in Horizon Wildcat,
that's what I'm
who, of course,
talking
is
about.
in for it, but 2 back. Finally broke his maiden after 9 attempts at Los Al, gets back here to Del Mar, where the horse has been okay. Has run twice, has put up a buyer 56 before. This distance is what they're going to keep trying. The horse is 1 for 3 on the dirt. We do have to remove some turf races out of there. If you take those 5 out, this horse is 1 for 5 and has 3 third place finish or 2 third place finishes, that 3 times hitting the trifecta in 5 races on the dirt. So Horizon Wildcat is always there. I get Kazushi picking up the mount here from Kyle Frey, and I like that a lot, frankly. Tried the turf last time, didn't like it. If we get back to what we got 2 races ago there at Los Al, I think this horse will be right in this kind of company. Going from a maiden 50 to 10, you're putting the for sale sign up, right? I mean, it does bother me a little bit that way, Barry, that maybe they're just giving up on this horse. But frankly, I think I saw enough at Los Al that if this horse gets out of the gate, he's got a legitimate shot. I'll take 8-1 and 10 claimer company every single day of the week. So I landed 8-9-1 here. I know you've got the 9 and the 1 in your handicapping, but you landed on the 6 here in No More Ding Dongs, who we have definitely talked about before.
Oh yeah, not only is this a top-notch name,
high level,
but
high level for sure. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I think this horse fits really well at this company. I know they didn't have a great run at it last time. Had an excuse, was bumped around a little bit, and didn't get the best of runs. And that goes for the October 3rd race at Santa Anita as well.
Mm.
Just didn't get a good run. This is where this horse fits. I think if they get a clean shot at it, they're going to win this race.
No More Ding Dongs does have a career win at Del Mar before. You are 6-1 and 9. I am 8-9 and 1. I'll go ahead and talk about Naismith, who will break from the inside. The aforementioned Kyle Frey here. This is the level for this horse, Barry. This is
Mm.
the distance for this horse is a question, but this is absolutely the level for this horse. I actually think this horse is very unfortunate because I think this might be a 7.5 kind of horse.
Mm.
But this one has to live in Southern California, and there aren't a lot of races like this. If this were at Gulfstream or something like that, I think this horse would have some more decent checks, at least, if that makes sense. So I'm a little worried about the 6 furlongs there. What do you make of Naismith on the inside?
The concerning thing is the 10 second or third place finishes out of 21 lifetime starts.
Yeah.
That kind of tells me that this horse doesn't like to win very much. I know this is a non-winners of 2 by name, but 8 thirds really tells me where this horse likes to finish.
My former co-host Dan Issel used to say there are horses who have figured out they get the same amount of food if they run second as if they push forward and win. So that
It's
might be
not
one of
no
those.
lies detected.
Might be exactly that.
And a trip to Moby Dick for my man Dan Issel.
You darn right. A little Moby Dick talk on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. This is SoCal Saturdays. We're presented by Amwager. My name's Louie. His name is Barry. Thanks for hanging out with us. And by the way, I want to give a shout out. So many of you followed us to Del Mar for the radio show here on ESPN Louisville for the Horse Racing Happy Hour coverage. We had a blast out there.
Yes, we did.
Thanks for showing up in the numbers that you did. Meant a lot to us. It always means a lot to us. I mean, there's a ton on the stream right now, which we always appreciate. But thanks so much for following us out there. We'll keep it rolling.
Steve Unger,
I'll
go
just say,
Cards.
I mean, where is that guy? What's he doing? What are we doing here? Let's go to the
Let's
late
go
pick.
Cards.
And by the way, the late pick 3, they're doing the right thing out in California. 15% takeout and a $3 minimum on the pick 3 might be the play of the weekend, frankly, given that these races sandwich the chosen Vron Stakes in race 8. We'll get there in a second, but we start with a mile race on the turf. It's for fillies and mares. 61K on the line, by the way, a $20,000 optional claimer here, state bred. And essentially, if you haven't won outside of your maiden race, you can qualify for this one, Barry. And it is an odd number race. You get to go first here. But boy, I like a horse in here a lot that you don't have at all. So I'm fascinated to hear you talk about this one. It's one of the reasons I love this show is I kind of don't know where Barry's going to go inside the mind of Spears, which by the way, none of us, no, it's not.
You don't want that.
I'm scared of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
But in
shouldn't
race
be.
7, you landed on the 4, man. Talk to us about it.
So honestly, this race can go a lot of different directions. I totally wanted to stay away from any kind of horse that I think would be a favorite. I went to number 4. She's a joker because I think this horse dropping into this company should get a better trip than what they've been getting at a higher level. This makes a lot of sense, this move. Peter Miller has been successful typically with this kind of move. He was at Santa Anita before they switched over to Del Mar, but I think it was just a matter of time. He found a spot, a real likely spot for She's a Joker to run well, and I think she will.
Any concern that you and I were at Del Mar when she last ran?
No,
That
honestly.
turnaround is very, very short. Now, I'm with you largely. If a trainer's like, no, she's in good shape, get her back out there, I generally take that as a real positive. Do you?
Yes, absolutely. I like the quick turnarounds. I always have. It shows a lot of confidence, and
Yes.
you know
This I
most
totally agree.
horsemen can kind of evaluate that pretty good. When their horse didn't really expend any energy, they
Right.
come back to the barn looking almost the same as as they did as when they
Right.
went out there. I think it's a no-brainer when there's a spot that fits, and I think this is it for She's a Joker.
Yeah, she's in for the tag here. For the 20,000. I'm gonna guess she gets claimed if she runs, man. I'll be
Probably.
honest. I think that's a worthy claim at 20,000. I think she's earned 27,000 this year in 7 runs. She hasn't won yet, but man, I don't know. This is a daughter
And
of
you
Pat.
know it's not desperation because of the owner.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah, the Barbers
Gary
aren't just
Barber,
throwing her in here for no reason. That's
right.
right. I agree with you.
So
I landed 6, 2, and 4 here. I'm going to try Quantum Energy here. Hector Barrios, again, just leaning on that. Slander coming. I apologize in advance, but if Tyler Bays can get this horse under the trifecta, I think that Hector Barrios can get it into the winner circle. And so Jeff Mullins trains here, switching over here. The two of them hitting at 23% essentially in their last 100 get-togethers between Barrios and Mullins. This is one we've seen in this company a lot, Barry. Never misses the trifecta. And so literally that. I'm going to trust on Hector to get this one over the top. Third place finishes in 4 runs at Del Mar. Just hoping this is the race that we can break through with her. But the 2 horse here is Mendelssohn's Angel. And this is one that's only sprinted in her career, comes out of a maiden win. And Barry knows me. I love a horse coming out of a maiden win at this kind of level. We saw this horse throwing a bullet a couple days ago again sprinting. So I think that while you saw the style of this horse being 2 lengths back, 3 lengths back, that kind of thing, and then pushing forward last out in a maiden special, Juan Hernandez keeps them out here. The horse won under Juan last time, and I think the stretch out makes a lot of sense. Brendan Galvin does do that at 10%, which is a good enough percentage for me here. And I think this horse fits very, very well in this company as well, Barry. And so give me Mendelssohn's Angel second. I'll go 6-2, and I'll include your 4 on top there. Obviously, you kind of agree about the 2.
yeah, I was just kind of looking at my notes, and you rattled off everything I was gonna say.
No.
But I'm with you here. The sire screams like this horse should be able to stretch out very
Oh,
well.
sure.
The stretch out makes a lot of sense. There's really limited speed here. I think Summer Lake might show some zip early, but they're very faint-hearted. But after that, there's not much, and I think Menace's Angel could get a really good trip.
And there are horses in here with 30 starts, 19 starts, 14 starts, etc. This is only
Right.
her 4th
Get
start.
away from those bums.
She didn't start her career until August, so she might just be putting it together right now. This might be one as a 4-year-old that we see next year, Barry, that we're talking about. Hey, will she try, the Cal ranks going down the hill or something for a stakes race. What conditions seem to fit her this way? I think she's one of those, man. I think that's one that we'll be watching next year. I think she's the kind of horse that we talk about in the fall, but boy, they really explode in the spring.
If I had to guess, I would think this horse would be like really ideal down the hill, but we'll
I
see.
agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, especially with the late kick in sprints, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's kind of something we're always looking for. Can a horse get down the hill that way? Late double here starts in race 8. We are presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. The Chosen Ron is race 8. It is a state bred, in other words, Golden State Series eligible horses. For 3 and up, we're going 7 furlongs on the dirt, named for the Chosen Ron. I needed that horse to win a Breeders' Cup race, Barry. I'm not going to lie to you. I needed it. It didn't happen, but I needed it. I needed Chosen Ron to push through, be chosen for all of us. Didn't happen, but boy, he was a cool horse, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely, man. It was almost must-see TV when he ran. Honestly, most of the time I never bet when he ran, but I did, want to be in front of the TV when he did because he put on a show literally every time, and it was always different.
He was
Very
always
exciting,
there. Good
a
point.
very exciting horse to watch. I mean, I'm sorry he's not running anymore, but
Yeah.
we got video for that.
This is at least, I think, the appropriate place for him to have a stakes race named after
Sure.
him. You
Yeah.
don't need he doesn't need the Bing Crosby. He doesn't need a grade 1 like that, even though he's a grade 1 winner and he won the Bing Crosby. I want to be clear. He's a great horse. He really was. But the state bred thing matters. And as we recalibrate in horse racing, Barry, and one circuit in California and all those things, those breeders still matter, right? That those Calbreds still
Hmm.
matter, and so
Sure.
hopefully this kind of race can prop those things back up. We get a nice field in here, frankly, of 7 horses. You and I landed on the same one. I get to go first. We land on the 5 in Man O Rose. And Barry, do you know what I like about it? Is Man O Rose? You know who he reminds me of? The freaking Chosen Braun.
I
You're
was
just
gonna say the
running this.
horse that
You're
the
running this.
stake is named after.
You're running the $100,000 races. You pick off the checks. You move on with your life. Absolutely. And Mano Rose has done that the last 2 times. By the way, folks, going a mile on the dirt over 2 turns at Los Al and then turning around and winning the California flag handicap down the hill. That's how you do that. Okay. So when I talk about Mendelssohn's, what was it? Mendelssohn's Angel in the previous race, this is what I'm talking about, turning into this kind of horse, right? And I don't know that she'll ever get to that high level Mana Rose level, but it took till his 5-year-old year to really put this together. And look, he's a gelding. Mana Rose is a horse we might see for a while.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's what we like to see. Geldings
Absolutely.
that run into their 6, 7, 8-year-old seasons and running fast. I mean, the old guys, there's something to be said about horses that carry their form into late age. But I'm with you. This horse is as honest as they come, and I don't really see any anything to deter me from putting this horse on top.
What about Shea Brennan on the inside? Any deterrent from the rail? I love Armando getting back on this horse, by the way, not being on the turf. I think being on the dirt again will be very good for this horse. Was really good in the Real Good Deal just in August here at Del Mar going 7 furlongs. Is this one just a little bit too long for him?
That was kind of my notion. I don't really think this horse really wants to go much farther than this. I know they won a mile race, but it was kind of life or death. That they were all out to win that race. But with the way that this race has come together, I think they stand a really good shot to be second because of the fact that they should pick up pieces late.
I want to make the case for drop him here. And this is a horse that you and I have seen throughout the year. He's run 6 times, all of them in California. He was in that California Cup Derby early in the year in January to begin his 3-year-old campaign. He did win the juvenile up north at Pleasanton just in December. So this is one of those horses, Barry, that also was part of the first ratings handicaps that they had at Santa Anita and won his race. Okay. So this is a horse that has to drop back off of Lasix here, but we saw this horse in the Real Good Deal at Del Mar. Speaking of Shea Brennan, finished within a nose of that one, and I get 12-1. This horse came back at Santa Anita last time, over 6 furlongs, runs it in a $110. It's going to probably have to be about a second faster than that here, Barry, as far as that kind of pace. I'm going to guess it's going to be 109 and change going in to the 7 for that last furlong of the race, essentially. But this is one that we watched in the Real Good Deal. not really lose a lot of ground at that 7 furlong distance before in the Echo Eddie was there at the end as well. Interesting to see if this horse can get the full distance here like it did at Pleasanton, but a 12-1 price on Drop 'em, I think is just an absolute steal. Do you agree that at least 12-1, that's a good price? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for a horse who's kind of proven at sort of this level, just a break here or there, and this horse, finishes second in one of those state bred stakes back,
Right.
earlier in the year. I like the fact that this horse is coming off of that win in the restricted race, but I think you're going to get all of that price because of the fact the buyer numbers are not as flashy. And like you said, they do have to get faster. But if you're thinking the fact that if you concede the race to Mano Rose, let's say, this horse has a better than 12-1 shot to finish second.
Oh,
There'll
totally
probably
agree.
be, I would say probably closer to 20-1. And that might end up being a really good exacta here.
You have Stamp My Passport in your third spot. Herrera rides for Leonard Powell. Two of them pretty good together, 14%, pretty much everywhere they go. The works aren't super fast, and I know you're a works guy. What did you see on the tab here for Stamp My Passport?
I think this horse needed the last race, ran pretty decent against Mano Rose, kind of ranged up and faded, which is typical
Mm.
for a horse coming off a layoff like that. I think they're going to try the same thing again, except this time they're just going to fade and finish third.
There you go. Race 9 closed the card. By the way, the late double starts in race 8. I just that we just handicapped. It is a $5 minimum late double, but only 15% takeout. Another great bet there at Del Mar if you want to get involved that way. Race 9 does close the card. Another state bred and another mile on the turf there at Del Mar. $20,000 is the claim price if you're in for that. 61,000 is the purse here. Barry, odd number race. You go first here. But Winning Patriot, you know what? On Veterans Day weekend, look at you, little Winning Patriot to close the card. I don't know if that's on purpose. Your son, not yet a veteran, but shout out to him, Navy man himself. Hope he's doing all right. But where? Tell us a little bit about the 4 horse here.
Yeah, honestly, it's going to be hard for
Yes,
me
honestly.
to sit on my hands to wait to bet on this horse. I like Winning Patriot quite a bit. I think they really didn't get the best of trips last time. Probably should have won despite that. You'll see the horse that won that race, Vodka, came back on this past weekend and
Yes.
won the first race of the new Del Mar meet, I believe.
Yep.
And I think this horse is good in this spot. I like this level for this horse. They really had a chance to win back in August, just didn't get the luck. And last time they were kind of out a little bit wide. Gets a better post position. I like the bullet on Halloween there. I think all systems are go. 6-1 is fair. Probably a get most of that. I think this is a 5-2, 5-1, 9-2 type price, and hopefully we can get that in the to bail out.
Hey, Barry, I'm going to throw one downfield to borrow a phrase. Mind of
Okay.
Louie. I'm going inside. I'm going with Mav Man. Coming out of a maiden win, I get Armando Ayuso, so I get Leonard Powell, and this one finished the race in 134-1 at Santa Anita.
Mm.
This horse almost broke its maiden at Del Mar 2 back. So this horse has been part of the equation twice, was the overwhelming favorite last out and backed it up. Gets to drop 2 pounds. Son of English Channel. By the way, a gelded Son of English Channel. And I get double-digit odds here. Do you see that work? On
Yes.
October 25th, do you see these works on Halloween, like you mentioned on the Tapeta there at Santa Anita? I think this is one that's just fast enough to go from these different distances. I think this one has a legitimate shot. I cannot look past that price, Barry. I'm stunned this horse isn't, say, 8-1, 6-1, something like that coming
That's
out of
probably
here.
what you'll get.
But it's got to be the speed figures. It can't be anything else.
Yeah.
And I'm just, you know what? 134-1, that's good enough for me, man. That's what I'm going to lean on here. So I'll go 1. Then I've got the 9 in the second spot here. 6-1 on the line here. Daniel Herrera rides for Peter Miller. If we draw a line through the last effort on the dirt where that horse obviously didn't want to be, this horse just ran 5 furlongs at 57-4 on in a maiden special, gets out of that company, is going to go sprint to route. And that's not a terrific thing for Peter Miller, but another daughter excuse me, another child, a progeny of Bodie Express. How about that? Is that 2 Bodie Express episodes? 2?
Oh, what?
2?
Deuce.
Are you in charge of this? Pointing at nobody. But Jack Fish is in this race. Paid 85 G's for this horse. But 4 runs, didn't begin his career until this year. They tried him on the dirt, almost won, by the way, just ran out of total gas. Okay, day at the track, made an insane run at the end of that race there at Los Al in July, just after July 4th. Draw the line through the dirt performances. This is a horse that I think you would look at and you go, okay, 81 buyer on turf, goes ahead and breaks its maiden at Del Mar, has never been outside the exacted Del Mar. I'll try Jack Fish here, man. I'll try the 3-year-old here, the 3-year-old gelding, son of Bodie Express. I'll try the 9 here. And then I also landed on the 4 horse here, which is your favorite. So I'll go 1, 9, and 4. Barry, I'll let you talk us through the 2 and the 8 here. The 2, of course, left hand man. You're not left-handed, are you?
I am.
Oh, why'd you pick this horse? Ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you.
What's it like being
I'm
left-handed?
going the mind of Louie here and going with the Hector Barrios route.
Hey, there it is.
I think that the whole reason this horse is basically in this race with him aboard is to get a good trip. Really
Okay.
didn't get it last time, and I think they ran against a buzzsaw in Manor Rose. The switch to turf really doesn't bother me. I think they've run good enough. Just need a trip. And I think the mile is probably best suited for this horse. They're gonna get bet, which is really, my issue here. Because I think this horse is gonna be like 5-2, 3-1 ish, and that's a little bit too low for my liking to put in the win spot, especially in a race like this where you have horses like Mavman, who, to your point, ran a really good race to break the maiden. Actually, those last 2 races were very, very
They were
good.
good. Yep.
If you look at everybody else's maiden breaking score and the ones that kind of compare at the mile on the turf, that is the best one. So
I agree.
I can see improvement there. I just don't think we're going to get 12-1 on that horse. And I'm not really too enthused about the rail draw. So that's why I left that one out. That would be my 4th horse.
Barry,
If
you
we
and
went
I
that far.
have talked about your 3rd horse, Cardiff Crack, before. Do you remember where Cardiff is?
No.
It's in Wales.
Ireland? Oh,
Wales.
damn.
Very close.
Wrong
I've
one.
taken.
Wrong
You ready
one.
for this? I have taken a boat from Cardiff to Ireland. How about that? There you go.
There you go.
I
That's
think I was
close
11.
enough.
I think I was 11. And you lived in Ireland much longer than me. What do you like about
Yeah.
Cardiff Crack?
Well,
Besides the track part, yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where everybody else is doing one thing, and this is the
Mm.
only horse doing the other. The close makes sense. Again, ran against Vodka. Vodka who came back
Immediately
opening
won.
day on the 30th to win. Was closing on that horse. I think they're going to get sort of a similar trip, and 12-1 to round out a try makes a lot of sense here.
There you go. Well, that's our analysis for the day. Again, we're presented by Amwager and Amwager.com. Thank the folks over there for hanging out with us on SoCal Saturdays. I'm Louie Barry. He's Barry Spears. We'll be back next week with another edition of this program. We'll be back Thanksgiving week. We'll figure that one out, of course. We'll do a Black Friday edition of this show as well. Barry, are you a Black Friday shopper?
No, sir.
I'm not either.
No,
I don't think I've ever gone.
I did once, but that was because
Tell me something
the
stupid.
girlfriend I had was really about it, and needless to say, she didn't last.
What did you guys go for? I gotta know now.
Television.
There it is. That or a laptop, right? Isn't that the
Right.
play? Isn't that
One
what
of
it
the
is?
two.
A laptop.
Electronics.
There's
or
30
like
people outside Best
PlayStation.
Buy to save $8 on a Chromebook. Yeah, right.
Well,
Well, we have good news. If you follow our bets, you'll probably be able to afford a Chromebook. He's Barry.
hopefully.
This is the Horse Racing Happy Hour. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. We hope you are too. Have a great weekend, everybody.